Hi everybody and welcome to another episode of Armored Warfare. This is Tanks for the Mammeries, and today we're going to do a review on the BMD-2 WOLF. This is the Tier 5 Scout armored fighting vehicle that you can get with the Wolf Pack or buy individually. This is the cheapest of the vehicles in the Wolf Pack if you do want to buy it individually. The other vehicles are 7,000 gold each from your account, and this one is only 3,000 gold from your account. So if you're interested in getting a Tier 5 little scout vehicle, this might be the one for you. What I thought I'd do is talk a little bit about it, and then we'll get into some gameplay so you can see sort of how it works in the game. And it's basically old Russian, or not old, but sort of 1980s Russian armored scout there. It's got a 30 millimeter cannon on it, and it also comes with a anti-tank guided missile system. So you can use both the gun as well as the missile system in this. The gun comes with a couple of different kinds of ammunition. One of them is the armor-piercing, fin-stabilized discarding sabot round. It's again 30 millimeters. There are 27 rounds in the weapon at a time. Each round is around 59 damage. It's got 115 millimeters of penetration. It takes 2.2 seconds to aim, and the reload time is about 9 seconds. You can, of course, get that down a bit if your crew's got the skills for it, but that's the basic amount. It also comes with these the little high explosive rounds, which are incendiary. You get a little bit of additional module damage when you use these rounds, a 75% bonus module damage to the round. It fires 200 rounds a minute. Again, there's 27 rounds in the chain, basically in a magazine there. And again, the reload time is 9 seconds. The missile system, which is the 9M 111M anti-tank guided missile, shape charge, it's 127 millimeters. You get to fire just one. It's not two like on some of the other ones. It's just a single missile per salvo. Penetration is 571. Goes 200 meters a second. Its reload time is almost 17 seconds, and you can get about just a little over 3.5 rounds a minute with this. So it is definitely something worth taking a look at. I tend to find that as I'm firing through my chain gun, if I run out of rounds of my chain gun and the enemy's still alive, I'll switch over to the missile system and go ahead and give it a go, because if you'll notice, the wait time is a little under 2 seconds to get it to zoom in on the target and have the guidance system ready to fire the missile. So if you've got a missile in the tube and you're firing your guns, you run out of rounds, you can flip over to the missile, and it'll take about 2 seconds to get it on target. Versus waiting, 9 seconds to have the magazine reloaded in the gun. So for my crew, what I've done here is I've got the Sabrina Washington, my scout commander, in the vehicle. She has additional high view range, good aim speed, reduces my shooting penalty, and also increases my camo factor on this. This is actually a really small vehicle. Let's talk about that for a second. This is actually a pretty small vehicle, and it's basically aluminum hull. It's not. It's certainly not the strongest armor out there. It's got basically 14 millimeters of hull, 6 millimeters on the turret. The sides and rear, again, 6 and 9. So it's certainly not the most heavily armored vehicle out there, but it's pretty decent. It's got a decent max speed there of 61 kilometers an hour. It's a little over 1,000 hit points. Rate of fire, again, is 200 rounds a minute. I've got my reload time down to 799 because of my crew skills. So, and my aim time is also down under 2 seconds there. So, small vehicle, decent camouflage to it. It does have good camouflage, and because it's a small scout vehicle, you have the reduction in the penalty for shooting when you're behind or in bushes, things like that. So, this could be a good scout, both passive and active. Obviously, you want to have your commander and crew do whatever they can to increase the view range. So on my crew, I went for off-road driving to make sure I continue with the maneuverability and agility of the vehicle off-road. Being that it's a tracked vehicle, it is not as fast as the wheeled Scouts are, um, but it's still not bad. It's got decent maneuverability. So while it's not as fast as some of the wheeled Scouts like the Fox and things like that, um, it does have the Fox is 108 kilometers an hour, whereas this is only in the 60s. But it's still pretty maneuverable. The other thing I did was put smooth ride, so I would have better accuracy while firing on the move, because the accuracy on this is not the best. Um, it's okay, but again, it's an autocannon, so you're not going to have pinpoint accuracy, but you're going to have to. But again, you do have 20 something rounds in the magazine, so you can afford to spray a little bit. For my other crew member here, I've got the hull traverse speed, which I use to help improve, again, maneuverability, and also point what little additional armor I do have towards enemy targets if they're firing back at me. And then I went with securing the ammo rack. I just figure that's probably a pretty good skill for the gunner to have there. For my consumables, of course, again, repair kit, first aid kit, manual fire extinguisher, and I have the mid-tier field maintenance kit on there for the PvE matches. When I went to some of the retrofits, I decided to go ahead and do the experimental propellant on the gun to give me additional damage. It's a little 5%, well, 6.25% additional damage on the shots that land, just because, again, it's not a tremendous amount of damage per shot, but it is certainly over time, 200 rounds a minute, pretty significant damage over time. So any little extra bit of damage I can get out of those rounds that hit, I wanted to do that. Then I did reinforced engine housing. Maneuverability is life in this thing, and so I wanted to add some hull and engine hit points to it. Again, the armor's not great, but this helps a little bit, so I went ahead and did that. Then to upgrade the crew skills, I went ahead and added the intercom system so that my crew would have an additional 5% on their skills. So that's basically it. Again, same camouflage as all the other Wolf vehicles. It's sort of olive green and black and red with the big wolf on it. Kind of a funky looking vehicle. It's a pretty cool looking vehicle, except I think the tracks look weird on it, but whatever. It's pretty maneuverable. Good little gun, and it having as many rounds in the magazine as it does, it's certainly a bit better than, say, for example, like the Fox here, and some of the other ones that don't quite have the same number of rounds in the gun. So let's go ahead and take a look at this in a fight. I just did one a few minutes ago, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. That is this fight right here. It's Cerberus, again, that's popped up on the map again today. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this one, and we'll show you what it's all about. So I'm the highest tier in the game. We've got an artillery piece, we have a swing fire missile system, we've got the Starship, and the only serious gun we have is that Lav. So a lot of vehicles actually with long reload times, except for the Lav. He's the one that actually has a gun that can go down range with any significant speed, because the Starship obviously takes a long time to reload, and then the swing fire takes a long time to reload. You've got an artillery piece back here who's going to be the hero of this game. Little spoiler alert, he's going to be the hero. And you've got me that can fire a lot, but doesn't do a tremendous amount of damage per shot. So I noticed something on this map yesterday. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not. This is a medium mission because I was having a hard time getting into hard missions. But I noticed on the hard mission for this map, they've changed the secondary objective from destroy the mine shipments to jam some sort of transmitter. And I played it a couple of times yesterday on hard and couldn't figure out where we're supposed to jam these transmitters. There weren't any boxes marked, and nobody saw them on the map. So I don't know if that's some sort of that was me looking down range as opposed to looking where I was driving. I don't know if it's a glitch or a mistake that they made a change to the map for hard, but there are no, from what we could tell, things to go jam. So here I am behind my favorite rock, and I'm going to start putting rounds downrange. Here we go. There's one. Try to do a little spot in here. Now I'm probably sticking a little far out at this point. And I should actually be marking targets. I was so busy trying to kill people that I didn't mark targets for artillery, and I should have done that. Artie's trying to counter battery that that piece up on the hill on that ridge line. I just got my missile reloaded. And one of our guys just popped smoke, which is why I can't see anybody anymore. It's the swing fire, right? And he's going to be in big trouble right there. Put himself right out in the middle. Ooh, I just shaved the paint off the side of his vehicle. That was close, yeah. So there goes our swing fire. Try and take this lieutenant out. Got him. So again, in this position, obviously, almost all the enemy are on this side of the map at this point. And again, you can see them firing back at me, but because of where I'm positioned, they're having a real hard time hitting me over the over that little ridge and the rocks that are there. So I can sit back here and hit them pretty good. I'm going to stick it out and get whacked, but it's just because I was getting greedy. There we go. Took a hit from that tank. There's a lot of dead armor there, and I'm having trouble actually hitting anybody. So he took some good hits. He's hitting me, but I figured I'd go ahead and duke it out with him. So I didn't notice this at the time, but there's another artillery piece up there, which the lab took a good hit on, and the artillery must have just finished killing. So there's still a bunch of guys down here that have disappeared from my view. And I don't know if it's because they're moving up the map towards the final objective or what, but this guy I can hit. So it's time for me to probably push up a little bit. But again, you know, this low-vis vehicle, it's pretty low to the ground. It's very maneuverable. And the gun is very, very good when you're up close. It's not something you can be shooting at people from a long way off, but certainly up close. In the sides and rear of enemy vehicles, you've got the maneuverability and you've got the speed to get around enemy vehicles and put good fire into their rears and sides. And this 30mm cannon will go through anything in its tier, anything in the tier above it for sure, from sides and rear. Now this is, I shouldn't have done this, but I figured I was going to try and spot for both the lab and for Artie. And so what ends up happening here is there's a very aggressive AI that's going to really come chase after me, and it hurt. And I did not expect this from this guy. Got him spotted. Somebody's back there shooting. It's the Starship that's back there shooting at him. Anyway, he starts taking real solid shots at me, and then he keeps coming around, and I'm like, damn. Trying to get away from him. And then I start getting shot by the other guy as well. I'm like, fuck, I'm screwed. I really thought I was going to be dead there. So decent maneuverability forwards and backwards. Vision's okay. But again, you don't want to be taking a whole bunch of autocannon fire in return. So rather than stick around there and keep getting shot at, I didn't really have a good angle anymore. I figured what I'd do is go ahead and get up here on the hill. That way I'd have a shot at these guys that were going to be on the ridgeline on the other side. And then I could spot for artillery the guys that were coming around the other way. He's ducking just out of my view. Now here's where you got to be careful. But we're going to put some good rounds out on this guy here. So you can see I'm out of rounds. Instead of waiting for the reload, I'm going to go ahead and fire the missile. And then I'll go back to my autocannon. So I'm designating him for artillery just to let artillery have the shot. And artillery missed him, so I figured if artillery's going to miss him, I'm going to go ahead and finish him off. There we go. So got me in the lab. The Starship got whacked. I'm trying to spot that Bagel Panzer that I know is down there somewhere. And I just don't get any shots in on the Weasel. Artillery hit him though. So go ahead, push out, try to do a little spotting. Again, this thing's a scout vehicle. Once you get in place and you sit still behind a bush, you got good camouflage. Want to get your spotting distance back up as quick as possible. Now I kind of messed up there. I'm lucky I didn't hurt myself because that guy, I saw that guy and I was like, oh shit, I'm screwed. So artillery, very cool though. Very good job. Put some smoke down for me. I didn't thank him for that because at the time I didn't realize that's what he did, but he probably saved my life right there. I know I'm hurt bad. I can't take more than a couple of hits, so. Now I'm worried that those two guys are going to be aggressive like that other vehicle was and come down on me. So I'm trying to get that lab to help me out here. Artillery comes in with some good assistance. That's about all the hits I can take. I can't come after that now. I didn't realize that artillery put more smoke down in front of it. Or did I do that? I can't remember. I guess it was artillery that did that. Now the lab's got a guy climbing the hill towards him, which he takes out, thank goodness. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to hit this guy. Gun depression couldn't get quite that low, but then I run out of ammo. I didn't reload like I should have. So now I got to wait for the reload, knowing he's just sitting there waiting for me. I was hoping the lab would come down, but he was busy with the other target. So I barely just see the top of his turret. I'm just bouncing too many shots. And he just gets out of the way. And the lab misses him. Alright, he's dead. And the lab is dead too. So it's just me. And I'm smoked. So now it's this guy with 69 hit points left. And he's pretty much the last one. We got a little under 4 minutes in the game left. and artillery's it. And our artillery piece has already been hit as well. So he's going to go ahead and come on up. God bless him. You can see he's been hit at least once. So we give him a little bit of encouragement, and he comes rocking up. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, we can still do this. It's going to be hard for this guy, but we can do it. And he can take a couple of shots. He could take a hit from that Bagel Panzer and not die. All he has to do is splash him. Doesn't even have to hit him, just has to splash him. So everybody's got their fingers crossed. And I can't remember if there are any more red tanks going to pop out or not. It could be that this yellow guy, the boss tank, is the last one. But just in case there were any other reds out there, I didn't want him to concentrate on them. Just focus on killing this fucking yellow guy, and the game is over. So he's coming down to take a look and just see if maybe the guy got up on the ridge or not. And I thought he had. I thought he'd climbed the ridge, which is actually okay because this guy could probably hit him if he was up on the ridge line when he gets over here to where I was. Anyway, we're down to 2 minutes. Getting a little nervous. He decides to stop, hang out, answer a question. Don't answer the question, just drive, brother. So, as you can see, though, I ended up with 16 kills, and it certainly helped that the team really didn't do a lot, but nevertheless, this is a pretty darn good little scout vehicle. It's probably one of the best in its tier, if not the best in its tier, and certainly as good as anything in the next tier up for a scout vehicle, I think. So here he goes looking at the up there, and I'm like, no, he's not there. I keep telling him to go back and take a look at it, or I keep thinking that, but he heads over this way, and we're all like, what are you doing, man? That's not where you need to be. Because if anything, if there are any more reds, they're going to pop up from down there. So he decides to stop, and he starts backing up. We're down to 1 minute, 16 seconds left, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, if we lose this, I'm going to be so pissed off. And now I'm thinking, that guy's going to be on that ridge right up there, and he's going to come out and shoot this fucker right in the back. So I'm starting to type that, and as I'm typing it, all of a sudden, right there he is. Oh my goodness. He took a shot at him, and it hit the ridge line. So calmly, carefully, he kills him. We win the game. Well done, artillery. Thank you very much for that. I give you a solid shout out. So anyway, you can see, we'll go to the post-game stats after this, but I hope you enjoyed watching that replay and learning a little bit more about this vehicle. I will show you the post-game stats. Thanks. Okay, so going along the lines of this being a scout vehicle, you can see we had 22 spots, 16 kills. With the premium account, that's 13,524 reputation. Did a little over 12,500 damage. Obviously, highest score in the game, but you know, if I managed to pull it out in the end and kill that last guy, whatever, would have been pretty good, but as it is. So you can see, actually, the accuracy was not bad, but most of that was because I was sitting still, or I was actually close to the enemy targets. So out of all the rounds fired, it was, what, 50-something that I missed there. Otherwise, all in, pretty significant amount of damage for essentially a 30mm autocannon. But at this tier, that's pretty reasonable. But then you have also the anti-tank guided missiles, which tended to bump the score up significantly. Again, you know, although I died and the artillery piece was the hero, that is the final score there for this vehicle. So all in all, pretty good game. It just shows you what this vehicle is capable of doing when you're able to spot and lay down pretty good fire using the missile system and the guns. I gave you a little bit of close-up fight, some distance fight, and you know, some maneuverability there. So I hope you enjoyed that. The next screen here, I want you to see the stats for the BMD-2 up in the upper right-hand corner compared to the BMD-2 WOLF. which I am using, and then the actual gun that I have. So I'm using this higher explosive shell in there, but there's 58, but I'm getting 62, and that's because of the crew skills and the extra power from the supplemental propellant in the charges. So that's what that does. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching. This is Tanks for the Mammeries. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.